981. This is when we take in-depth analysis of the news stories from this morning, national news headlines. And to join us this morning, we have our guest analyst with us in the studio. It's been a while. It's great to have you back, to hear your voice. Hello, Ikemesi.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Lagos.
Welcoming us back to
This
song.
succeeded in getting me out of bed.
Yes, we did.
We're really
We pulled you
grateful.
out.
Thank you very much indeed.
The pleasure.
Boxing.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic morning,
It's
obviously.
not a feel good Friday, guys.
All right, so you can follow Ikemesit since he's so hyper and excited this morning at George Ike on Twitter. And then we also have with him his partner in crime for today in the person of Justin EJ. Morning, Justin.
Morning.
With
It
the
wasn't
fist
me.
bump.
Honestly.
Well done.
You can follow Justin at Justin EJ on Twitter, and if you'd like to see more of that kind of fist bump reaction, you can follow us or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. It's Smooth 91 FM. We're streaming live at the moment, so you get to see all the action behind the voices. Also, we have other channels that you can communicate with us.
On WhatsApp, our number for messages alone, number for WhatsApp is 0809-444-0981. On Twitter, use the hashtag freshlypressed981.
All right, so
Let's start with the first story now. From Premium Times, update is an update on the crisis. The fresh crisis in Ebonyi State. Thank you, Ayo. Infants, 7 others killed in Ebonyi communal crisis, and this we know is a border crisis. So the police in Ebonyi State have confirmed the killing of 8 persons. In this report, the gory details show a family who went for a matriculation exercise in the university all lost their lives on their way back. Another victim, who happens to be the wife of a police officer that was 7 in the state, and between Ebonyi and Borno States.
Witches.
Quote
unquote. Yeah, in the village. It's dementia. It's not. It's a health disorder that needs to be taken care of. The Ministry of Health needs to do a whole lot more than these talking points and raising stats. I have not seen any jingles
in areas of
any
sensitization.
TVCs. I haven't heard any jingles on radio. These were things we used to see growing up. Issues of public concern, agencies would usually produce material to engage people across different touch points of life in Nigeria. We don't have that anymore. And I mean, this is just one more example.
Thank you, Justin.
thank you very much.
Let's move on to this next story now.
All right, we go on to this one from this day. Supreme Court will remain a united institution. Assurance right there. And Ikemesit, I'll come to you for this one. They were saying this in response to denying the reports that the reported resignation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, had ripped it apart. So they're saying we have not been ripped apart. It's false. Do not pay attention to that report. Please take us through the details.
Yeah, the press spokesperson for the Supreme Court, Mr. Festus Okonde, said that the judicial oath that was taken by all the justices of the court is a potent, and this is a direct quote, a potent sacred bond that regulates and conscientizes the conduct of judges in the discharge of their functions. And he said that judicial officials are appointed irrespective, without regard to their religious or tribal background, and as such, the discharge of their obligations cannot be dictated by such. Brilliant and beautiful in theory, and I would, as a legal practitioner, sit down here to start, querying the extrajudicial inclinations of our judicial officers. But there's something to be, having said that, there's something to be said about the current administration's attitude, general attitude towards the judiciary. When you have an institution which is obligated by law to arbitrate over disputes involving anyone and everyone, within the country, and there are clear rules and there are clear guidelines in terms of the rules of engagement that other non-judicial officers and personalities are to have towards these people, you should abide by them. When you start treating them like you would treat any other political or official institution of state, you give people the right to raise up these questions about these people, as it were.
Spread false stories as they're claiming.
Exactly. So when you're handling them the way you handle a legislator, or you would handle a governor, or another political personality who you think is not playing to your tune,
Yes.
why should you expect other people to handle them any differently? That's what occurs to me, with respect to this. So on Noggen's the learned Chief Justice of Nigeria, as it then was, whose resignation has not yet been confirmed either by the Supreme Court or by the National Judicial Council, who both say they haven't gotten a notice of it. His resignation has clearly been reduced to a political talking point, and for everyone, least of which the Supreme Court, to pretend that that is not the case would be manifestly unhelpful in understanding what's going on. It's not clear, since he has resigned, the facts of the issue that are on at the Code of Conduct Bureau have essentially be rendered somewhat redundant, because the worst possible punishment that would have happened, to my understanding at the time, would have been his removal from office. He has removed himself from office. So,
but there's a difference between, of course, him resigning and him being removed from
of course, I mean, yes, there's obviously that, least of which is the effect on us and the public purse. There's a very, very clear and diametric difference.
All right, thank you very much, Ikemesit. We'll go on to take some comments before we proceed with the next story.
From WhatsApp, Nonto from Lagos sent in this message. It says the trouble is not the fire. That's speaking to the incident in Owerri International Cargo Airport, or the cargo airport there. So the trouble is not fire. It can happen anywhere, provided it didn't arise as a result of negligence or failure to comply to standards. It's about emergency response, which is non-existent in Nigeria, he said. Bengus says, from armed banditry to terrorism, cultism, militancy, armed robbery, and kidnapping, so many security issues to grapple with the country. The security agencies are already overwhelmed. Will changing the security chiefs change anything? Just wondering. He went on to say, the toilets at the Port Harcourt Airport are really terrible. Water drips from the shattered ceiling of the toilet or on you when you're inside it.
Oh dear.
I wonder if they forgot to renovate the toilets while carrying out the so-called renovation of the airport terminal. That's Yemi here says maybe fire service was on ground, but they had to go fetch water.
Like Justin says, we always find something funny even in the midst of seriousness, and that's why we keep our sanity in this nation. All right, moving on to our next story. Justin, I'll come to you again for this. FIRS to charge VAT on lottery betting automate collection. Now, this was announced in Lagos at a stakeholders engagement session with the lottery and gaming operators. It was organized by FIRS in conjunction with the National Regulatory Commission, and he had in attendance the top brass of the revenue agency led by its chairman in the person of Mr. Babatunde Fowler. Can you please take us just, the hows and the whys and the assurances he gave at this meeting to the stakeholders?
Okay, I'm just going to put some context to this story.
Okay.
So one of Nigeria's foremost, in my opinion, foremost polling organization, the NOI polls, had recently conducted a poll because the sports betting industry has been on the ascendancy in Nigeria for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes,
in 2008 alone, they raked in over $2 billion.
So it's
revenue.
It's an industry where the turnover is 1.8 billion daily. What I mean by that is the amount of money placed as bets in Naira is 1.8 billion and thereabouts daily. So the NOI polls, the part of it that I want to share is, first of all, about 60 million Nigerians participate in the industry, place bets with these companies who do this. The larger bulk of the population of that 60 million people are people aged between 18 and 35. But what I want to point out to is when they polled people and asked for the reasons why they participate in this industry, I want to bring that to bear. Remember that we're talking about the government is trying to tax that industry. So why do you bet? 30% said they do it to get quick money. 21% said it's because of unemployment. 15% greed. We just want to make more money. 12% hardship is the reason why they place bet. The average size of a bet is 3,000 naira daily. Some people do it for fun, about 5% do it for fun. Some people do it for love of the sport, another 5%. You would imagine that people who love the sports that they are betting on would be higher in population, right?
Yes.
In percentage. Peer pressure, 2%. that totals to 100% of the betting population.
Mhm.
Now, there are two ways typically across the world that governments can respond to gambling. Right? One way is to make it illegal.
Yes.
You drive it underground when you do that, because it will happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Another way is to float it, like we've done, license it, and then tax it. But there are schools of thought about the impact this has on your population, the social impact of this. There are correlations between crime and poverty.
So impact
and
what has impact on taxing it has
Floating.
or
no, floating
Floating
it,
it,
making
okay.
it legal and then taxing. You can't tax it unless you made it floated and made it legal, right?
Okay.
So personally, I think, and this is my personal opinion, for a developing economy, right, given the issues that we have, it's a bit dicey, right? I don't have the solution, frankly speaking, but I think it's a bit dicey to allow this thing to balloon the way it has. And now we've seen that, oh, there's actually money here.
Well,
And then we
it's-
want to tax it because we're looking for tax revenues.
Mm.
But please, can we be mindful of the social cost? Look at the correlations between why people do it. Look at the areas where you get the most volumes. You won't get high volumes of betting in VI.
But
Lekki
Justin,
and
you
all
can
that.
make the argument. You can make the argument. You already mentioned that when you cannot regulate it, because whether you ban it or not, or you make it illegal or not, it will still be done under.
Let's
Now,
legalize prostitution as well.
there have been arguments about that.
So
But, I mean, that's
that-
another
that-
conversation.
that could be-
billion
that
naira
could be
industry.
twisted that could be twisted to start another conversation regarding other forms of business. So if you're giving all the statistics based on behavioral patterns or the reasons why people go into this kind of practice or business, and you decide now to implement, say, just hypothesis, right? Implement this waiver. Shouldn't that be applied to other businesses as well?
So we always fall victim to the copycat syndrome. It's a self-inflicted injury.
Right.
Okay, we see something because some people somewhere in the world are doing it. We just import the idea wholesale and we run with it. We are not exactly ready for this. That's just
No.
me.
But I just also mentioned as part of this report that FIRS have assured the owners of these betting companies that they won't bear the cost. It will
Yeah,
be
it's
those
the
who are
betting
I mean,
population that will
It's the
take the
betting- so
5%.
It's VAT,
in
the
terms,
consumer
in terms
tax.
of assuring them, because some people like Mr. Kialabi, who is coincidentally also a House of Rep member elect, an owner of one of the betting agencies, has come out to say, why would they do that? And they've assured them that it wouldn't go to them. The cost would actually be borne by.
Yeah, VAT is
those
always
who-
a consumer tax.
Yeah.
It's always a consumer
just
tax.
assuring all
Yeah.
those who are a bit.
I don't think it will be a huge disincentive because for the betting population, because hey, the need and the drive and the
All right.
The drivers of that behavior
yeah,
still,
they are
they
still very
exist.
very valid. Exactly.
All right, thank you very much. I'll go on to this next one very quickly for you to touch on this. And Kema says EU to launch 30 million euros power finance scheme in Nigeria. This report is in the This Day newspaper. Quickly, could you tell us what this is about?
Well, so this funding is supposed to help upscale investment in sustainable energy development in Nigeria. Nigeria is primed. It's one of the centers. Nigeria is one of those countries where investment in sustainable and renewable energy resources would actually make sense. Two key levers. A lot of the natural resources are in place for us to make that happen. If you witness, for example, the current heat wave now has been a boom for solar energy consumers,
Yes.
amongst other things. And then secondly, we obviously have the power deficits that we have in the country. So every kind of investment that would help harness what we already have to get us what we actually need, I think is commendable. So this is a good step in the
All
right
right.
direction.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll bring you updates once that comes into place. Now,
A few quick messages here. We have this one in from Nonso. Nonso says, Onoya has taken the honorable route. The judge must be righteous to thrive. Supreme Court Chief Justice has a case to answer, and she just take the bow. Thank you, Nonso. And we keep taking your messages on WhatsApp as well, 0809 444 0981.
Okay, now Justin, court rejects offer robbery suspect request for wound examination. This is from the Punch newspaper. Very short, straight to the point. Just tell us what this is about.
Yeah, we all remember the bloody offer robbery,
Yes,
where
we do.
where Mr. Senate President was eventually named by some of the suspects allegedly as
Allegedly.
being a sponsor.
It's happening in
That-
April.
I mentioned that specifically because it has a bearing here. Now, remember also that the guy who was supposed to be the kingpin died in custody.
Yes.
Right? Now, we have a case here where one of the robbery suspects suffered injuries and his his counsel went to the court and asked, basically instituted a trial within the trial. So there's a case within the case where the suspects are saying, listen, we were maltreated and forced to make those confessional statements that are implicating Mr. Senate President.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're asking the court to mandate an examination of the wounds that they suffered. And what this story is saying is that the court rejects
The court
that
said no.
request. The court said no, we're not going to examine the wounds. And this goes back to our human rights.
Exactly. That was the question.
Yes, he's a thief. Yes, he should be punished. But he still has the right to be treated like a
A
human.
human being. All right. Thank you very much indeed. You came as the final one here to touch very quickly. It's a special report from Premium Times talking about the audit report indicting Nigeria's Surveyor General of multi-billion naira contract fraud, theft.
Yeah, and Surveyor General of the Federation, no, go ahead to even pronounce his name. So he was appointed under the former Goodluck Jonathan administration in the twilight of the administration. And this report by Premium Times, I really encourage our listeners to go out and check it out. Details almost a line by line item of some of the more problematic contract awards and why they were problematic. It cites sources unnamed, but it does cite sources that explicate on why those contracts were problematic. And it also, the report also highlights that this is a pattern. So an audit report from 2016 contained 20 cases of alleged abuse, for example, involving contracts worth several millions of naira. There was a 2017 report that also details this. The report quotes Mr. Awudu as saying that this is the work of officials that are opposed to him and are desperate to see him leave office. But he declined, as they want to say, but he actually declined to comment on the specifics of the allegations that were contained in the report. So that's probably,
because there are details.
Yeah, that's probably a primer. He is required by law to refer concerns with respect to this to the EFCC. The report says he has not done that yet, so it will be interesting to see how this pans out.
Excellent, thank you, Mr. Quick messages here. Chigozie Lazarus sent in this one from Yanapaja in Lagos. It says, betting isn't the problem in Nigeria. Banning it can never solve the unprecedented problems in Nigeria. Betting is being carried out all over the world. Life isn't a betting, or is a bet, isn't a bet. Let's focus on the poor governance and prefer a solution to it than wasting energy on betting. Thank you very much, Uwoma Chigozie. And we have this one from Ifeanyi
Ofoha. He says, I expected the president to send the python to dance in Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna, or don't you think so? There was one launch yesterday. We actually discussed it yesterday in Zamfara.
Yeah.
Of the reptilian category?
No,
yes.
no.
No, this is called Operation
genus?
Puff Adder.
Yes, Puff Adder. Oh, actually, it's
Yes, reptilian,
yes.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Yinka says, guy, when someone spends 100 plus days in London on medical tourism, comes out to complain about Nigerians spending 400 billion naira foreign medical tour, and you tell village people that are not involved in this dementia thing. Bros, dementia is a big issue that must be treated, not with kid gloves, he said. I see, remember they said 40 million of us are mad. No, they didn't say that in those exact terms. But he said even if the situation in Nigeria can make one go mad, say like 50% of the 40 million, we just have to allocate the remaining 50% to the village people.
All right, thank you very much indeed.
That tells you how popular village people are. Yeah?
They're very popular. They are to blame as well as we pray about it.
Jokes
of course.
apart.
Meanwhile,
All right,
I'm still stuck on the reptiles.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that after the show. But thank you very much,
sure.
Ikemesit. You can find Ikemesit if you'd like to explain to him about the reptiles. He's at George Ike on Twitter.
The ones that
Please
dance
send
or
him
the ones that
message.
swallow money?
I don't
Send him a message. And then we have Justin at Justin EJ on Twitter as well. Thank you very much. And we are still here, Valentine and me, as we continue the show, Smooth Breakfast. Next up, we have Grapevine, entertainment news, review of songs, and our guests in the studio. Stay tuned.